meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. All members are present. Approval of the agenda. We have one addition, 7I. Approve resolution 2017-83, receiving petition and calling for hearing on road vacation. Is there any other changes? Council? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the agenda with that addition?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Heidi, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Approval of the minutes of the November 1st, 2017 regular meeting. Received them in your packet. Is there any changes, corrections, clarification? Hearing nothing, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the November 1st, 2017 regular meeting?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Diane, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Heidi. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. This now brings us to our public open forum. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the council? Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the council? Anyone here that would like to speak to the council? Seeing no one, our public open forum is closed. We do not have any public hearings tonight. Brings us to our reports and presentations. Police Department monthly report. Brian?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Activity report for October 2017. Some of the numbers we had 12 alarm calls. We did 37 assists for other agencies. We had 24 citizen contacts. We did 8 juvenile problem calls. We had 23 matter of information calls. We had 19 medicals, 14 accidents, 24 school patrols. We had 19 suspicious calls. We had 7 unwanted person calls. We gave out 173 verbal warnings. We also had 17 welfare checks. So we had a total number of calls of 443 and the verbal warnings of 173 for a total of 616. So comparing that to last month, we're down on calls 54. We gave a lot less verbal warnings by 174, so down by 228. Compare that to 2016, we're up on calls by 47. We gave 1 extra warning, and we're up on 48. So pretty comparable, I guess, a year and months. So otherwise, it's pretty quiet that month.
Any questions, comments? Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Planning Commission report, Sarah?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's nice to see you here again this evening. Last night, we had the Planning Commission meeting at 4:30, and SRF consultants, Cindy Gray and David Sweeney, were here for an update for the Planning Commission. And then at 6 o'clock in the evening, we had a public informational workshop, which was pretty well attended. And so you were all there for that. And so during my Planning Commission meeting, all we did was approve the minutes, and we, got the update from SRF about the comp plan, and it seems to be, moving along. They're collecting the data, and, still working on that process. So do you have any questions for me?
Questions? Okay, thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Brings us to 6C, insurance renewal. Mark?
Mine won't be quite as short, but I'll be quicker than I thought I was. So, first of all, you just got the email today on the rate changes for next year, and the good news is it looks like it's going to be flat. They've rearranged some of the formulas, but overall it's a 0% increase on average. Even though they changed the methodology, it looks like it'll be kind of a wash. It doesn't necessarily mean that your premiums will increase or decrease by the exact amount, but overall it should be about the same. So on the workers' comp, it looks like there'll be about a 2% average increase overall, mainly because of, the cost of health care and cost of, those are going up average of 8 to 9% a year. So, and that accounts for about 60% of the total workers' compensation costs. So it's gonna be about 2%. And I'll go to the third item. Every year we have to discuss and decide if we're gonna waive the tort limits, and then approve purchasing of the excess coverage. And the statutes limit a city's tort liability to a maximum of $500,000 per claimant and $1.5 million per occurrence. And these limits apply whether the claim is against the city or against the individual officer or employees or both. So on the league's policy, there's coverage provides for $2 million per occurrence. Besides the overall $2 million of coverage, there are some aggregate limits of around $3 million. The reason is to give members of cities better protection, and the statutory limit caps the city's liability for many types of claims, but some liability claims which are listed in the handout that you received aren't covered by the statutory limits. So the city's potential liability is unlimited. And the higher limits also protect against major incidences in which many people might be injured. And so the $2 million occurrence coverage limit gives the city better protection for these types of claims. And make it less likely the city could end up with limits exceeding the coverage limits. So another reason they provide higher limits is because it's increasingly more common to see contracts require more than the statutory 1.5 limits. So there are 4 other good reasons why cities should strongly consider carrying the excess coverage of $1 million to $5 million. You've normally chosen the $1 million, but the statutory tort limits either do not or may not apply to several types of claims. Those might be claims under the federal laws, claims for tort liability that the city has assumed by contract, claims for actions in another state, and claims based on liquor sales, and then claims based on taking theory. Suits challenging land use or regulation frequently include inverse condemnation, so, or the taking of property. So the second one is the league's primary liability coverage has annual limits on coverage for a few specific risks. Those are on the table 2, and you can see how that works. If you don't have excess coverage and you do not waive, the limit is $500,000 for an occurrence and $1.5 million for an aggregate. If on the liability claim in which you do not apply the waiver, they could collect $2 million. And if they do not have excess coverage and waive the statutory limits, they'd have $2 million occurrence, $2 million aggregate, and the 2-year statutory limit doesn't apply. So if you have the $1 million excess coverage, you'd have and you didn't waive, they'd have $5,000 or $500,000 of coverage, $1.5 million per occurrence aggregate, and then $3 million aggregate, including the excess. So if they have the 1 million of excess coverage and waive the statutory limits, it'd give you 3 million across the board. So that cost for the excesses last year was $8,760. And if you chose to waive the statutory limits, that was about $991. Back to the other reasons, the city may be required by contract to carry the higher limits. The league's limit of 2 million will be met by most requirements. And then there may also be one or more political subdivisions covered under the city's coverage, and so that would be another reason to have the higher limits. So pretty much to wrap it up, if anything, the excess liability coverage is more important for small cities rather than the large cities. If the city ends up with more liability than its coverage, the city will have to either draw on existing funds or go to the taxpayers for that judgment. The statutory limits liability only come in play in cases where the city is in fact liable and the injured party's actual proven damages are greater than the statutory limits. The statutory limit waiver increases about 3 to 3.5% of the regular liability limits, which was $991. So.
Questions,
Questions?
comments? Basically, you go through this every year,
Every year, yeah.
It's the
It
same.
seems they go faster every year, too.
right? More of us are understanding
Yep.
the process a little more, so. Okay, we've got an action item later on this. So,
Thank you.
thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
6D, Airport Board Report. Vicki?
Okay. The airport board met on Wednesday, November 8th at the regular meeting. They had just a few items on their agenda. The 2017 capital improvement project, which was the reconstruction of the runway, has one outstanding issue to complete, which is change order 2. You approved that a few meetings ago. It's related to site grading due to stormwater runoff. The contractor is still tying up some loose ends on some other projects. Uncertain for sure if they'll get that grading done yet this year, but they're hopeful that they will. Otherwise, they'd have to do it in the spring, but they're thinking they'll still get it done this year. Notice was also sent to the FAA, or if we move forward tonight, of the intent to pave the entrance road in 2018 utilizing airport entitlement dollars. That's going to be 90% FAA and 5% MnDOT Aeronautics, 5% city. So that would be the entrance road, and you'll have an action item on the actual work order for the engineer later on this evening. And then also there's grant dollars for the airport zoning update available through MnDOT, which is a 75-25% split. And we did send a request into MnDOT just to see if that funding will be available this year for that, or for it'll be our 2018. And then also, we have the Bolton Mink has submitted their agreements to provide the professional services for both those projects, and they're under our action item tonight. So really getting ready for next year already out at the airport.
Comments? Questions? If they're gonna do the final grading, do they have to notify the FAA to shut
It's
down
just
the airport?
it's just some final grading in the, up by the hangar, by the Central Plains hangar of that storm pond.
Oh, okay.
So they won't be on the runway, but they will be probably crossing the apron, so we would have to put a notum to say that there is work being done out there, but it won't affect anybody coming in or taking off.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, we'll move on to action item 7A, approved purchase of excess liability insurance and waiver of limits.
This is what Mark was just talking about, and it is the decision that you have to make every year, I should say, if you want to waive that tort limit and purchase the excess liability, and it was outlaid on the chart that he had showed you. If we waive the limit, it goes from 500,000 up to 3 million if we waive and purchase the liability. The council's decisions in the past have been, like Mark had said, we have a couple different entities. Somebody could enter in a lawsuit against the EDA and the city, and so those combined limits, all of a sudden, that makes a big difference. And also because we are operating some big vehicles out there, and there's a lot of potential for accidents to happen, and the council has always determined that they wanted to protect our citizens, let them have the, if there is a big claim, they should be paid for it. And so that's kind of the decisions that you had made. As he said, the cost to waive the monetary limits was $991 last year, and the cost to purchase the excess liability was $8,760. Because we've done this every year and we have approved that, I did include that in the budget that you had approved or had presented for the preliminary budget. So now's the time, decision time, if you wish to waive it and if you wish to purchase the excess liability.
Comments, questions? Hearing none, as Vicki stated, the city's always waived the limit and purchased the excess liability insurance. I think I'd recommend that we do the same thing.
Make a motion that we continue with the waiving and the purchase excess.
Okay, we have a motion from Dave to approve the waived monetary limits on municipal tort liability established under Minnesota statute 466.04 and to purchase an excess liability insurance umbrella for an additional $1 million. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Diane. Any other questions, comments? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7B, approve 2017 pay-as-you-go TIF payments.
The city, through the Economic Development Authority, has 2 remaining TIF, or financial assistance agreements, TIF pay-as-you-go agreements. The one is Little Falls Courtyard for $20,091.33. This is the final payment. It's 20 of 20. So it's been going on for 20 years. Little Falls Courtyard is the name of the company for the Mississippi Flats, which is the apartments where the old elementary school was across the street here. And then the second TIF payment is to Sauk Center Opportunities, because they had fronted the land for the Talk Inc. or the wind turbine company. That's an economic development district, and this payment is 5 of 9. So that's for $12,213.40. So I'm looking tonight for your approval to approve the pay-as-you-go TIF payments as presented.
Questions, comments? Do I have a motion to approve the pay-as-you-go TIF payments as presented?
So moved.
A motion by Keith, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Heidi. Any other class comments? Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7C, approve professional services agreement for airport entrance road project, Bolton, Maine.
This is what I referred to at the airport board report, and this is for the engineering services and the grant assurances for the paving of the entrance road proposed for 2018 at the airport. It is a total cost lump sum not to exceed $50,000. And this is part of that 5% city, 5% MnDOT, 90% FAA. So the city's share of this is $2,500. And so we're looking to approve the professional service agreement work order number 8.
Questions, comments? No, we used to, or we got government money for the airport, and sometimes if we didn't use it, we loaned it out to other cities.
We have had entitlement dollars that we have loaned out to like Holly and Owatonna and some other cities.
Okay, so is that something, we got any of that out there yet?
There is out there, yes, there is money out there yet. And if we do this project, we would still have enough of our own. We wouldn't have to get that repaid yet. So we'll let them use that for now. Otherwise, it would build up on our end, and then we couldn't use it again. So we
Right.
might as well leave it out there till we need it.
Okay, I was just wondering if that's how we plan on covering our 5%, is with the entitlement dollars,
No, not, well, not the loaned out dollars.
not the loaned
no.
out ones, okay, all right. Any other questions, comments? Do I have a motion to approve professional services agreement work order number 8?
So moved.
Motion by Heidi, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7D, approve professional services agreement for airport zoning update, Bolton Mink.
And Bolton Mink has also presented the airport board, and the airport board is recommending proceeding with the update to the airport zoning ordinance. Updates will protect the airport from land uses that impact the future development. And you all know that we just went through a master plan and an ALP update and determined what the future of the airport is. Now, this update of the zoning ordinance will protect those areas from development so that we can do that update in the future when we're ready to do so. If we do decide to proceed with that, this is not covered by FAA entitlement dollars, but MnDOT Aeronautics does cover at 75%. And what we would have to do, we would request that grant money, and if they have it available next year, then we would do it. If they don't, we would wait a year until it is available. But what we're looking for here is to approve the professional service agreement with Bolton Mink for the airport zoning update, but this would be provided that the grant dollars come back available. So.
Questions, concerns? Now, this zoning update basically is for the property that surrounds the airport?
It
Protects
goes
the
out
airport?
from the airport a couple miles because it protects the airspace and the construction off airport runway ends and that type of thing. The airport zoning ordinance isn't just us. There'd be a zoning board that would be appointed. It would include Stearns County, Sauk Center Township, and the city of Sauk Center. And it would be a special board that you would appoint from our end, the town would, and the township would, and so would the county. And then they would meet to make these updates to the zoning ordinance. And then those items that they would put in there then would become part of what needs to be enforced. At this point, we have the old zoning ordinance, but the new master plan, they don't match up. And so what this zoning ordinance will do is protect those areas.
That was one of my concerns, is that the township is on board with protecting our airport and not allowing something to go up, but
And by going through this process too, it'll bring a lot of awareness to the township that does exist, that it does exist.
okay. Any other questions, concerns? Do I have a motion to approve professional services agreement with Bolton Mink for airport zoning update? Motion by Dave,
I'll second.
second by Diane. Any other questions? Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7E, approve resolution 2017-79 authorizing sale of equipment.
As you know, last spring, the council approved the advertisement for sale of the 1981 Ford Fire Pumper. The truck has been offered for sale through the online bidding process, and the highest bidder was Sean Pratt out of Merrifield for $3,576. The fire department recommends that the sale be approved. So you have that in front of you, Resolution 2017-79, authorizing the sale of the excess equipment.
Questions, concerns? Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2017-79 authorizing sale of excess equipment? Motion by Keith, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7F, approve resolution 2017-80 authorizing accounts receivable adjustments.
As you know, each year we remove uncollectible accounts from our accounting software and we write them off as bad debt. We do have some items here and they're broken into sections for you. We have some uncollected fire and rescue bills. Most of those are car accidents. They're not like fires where there's real estate attached to them. These are things that happen out on the freeway. And the department is recommending those be sent to collections for $2,067.27. We are recommending to write off $341.95 in the middle, and those are all admin fees. Those are late fees that either happened because the bill came in and the late fees weren't all included, or they crossed in the mail, and then the last one there is that we did not have, the correct address was not being sent to. They had changed officers and we didn't have the correct officers. So We have that one removed. And then the bottom one, the certified to taxes, you guys approved certification to taxes of those amounts. Now it's just time to write them off as bad debt, and then when they come in as taxes, they kind of come in as new money. So we have a total of $3,735.76 to be written off.
Questions, comments? Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2017-80 approving the adjustments to accounts receivable?
Make the motion.
Motion by Diane, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Heidi. Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7G, approved closure of passbook savings account.
Back in the 90s, there was some fundraising to bring a water feature such as a swimming pool to Sauk Center, and we had a separate savings account at the bank that was opened, and it still has a balance in of $871.45. And we're just recommending that account be closed and the funds be transferred to the general fund, and then we could utilize them at the splash pad or something. So it's still a water feature. It's not a swimming pool, but it won't buy a swimming pool. So we're just looking to close that savings account and transfer the funds into the general checking for use at the splash pad.
Comments, questions? Do I have a motion to close the passbook savings account and transfer the funds into the general checking for use at the splash pad?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Heidi, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Any other comments, questions? Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7H, approve resolution 2017-81, authorizing sale of real estate.
At the last council meeting, the council recommended that that fragment of Lot 4 of Robbins and Mendenhall's addition, which is just north of the Ding Dong, be offered for sale to the owner of the balance of that Lot 4 at the price of 45 cents per square foot, and that's just that little fragment. And so the property was offered to that owner, who is Dana Boucher. He has accepted the offer for a total price of $1,605.50 plus $2,000 in closing costs. So I do have in your packet Resolution 2017-81, authorizing the sale of the property and the execution of the deed.
Just making that correction, $200 in closing costs, not 2,000, correct?
Right,
200, yeah.
Okay.
Did I say 2,000?
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's a good deal. For us, anyway. Sorry about that.
Any other comments, concerns? Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2017-81, authorizing sale of property and execution of deed?
So moved.
Motion by Keith, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Diane. Any other comments, questions? Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. This brings us to 7I, approve resolution 2017-83, receiving petition and calling for hearing on road vacation.
We did receive a petition from the abutting property owners of 410th Street, which is located east of Highway 71, south of the freeway. This is, I did include a map, and that is the road that goes in between the Felling Trailers properties. A copy of the petition is attached. Because the road is actually on the municipal boundary and shared by the township, the city and the township must also act on the proposal. They have been to the town board meeting, and their attorney is working on the process for the township to go through to consider the vacation. So what I'm asking you tonight is just to receive the petition and call for the public hearing for us to be held at the December 6th meeting. And then that resolution, if we choose to approve it at that time, would be contingent on a joint resolution by the township. So this is just the first step to call for the public hearing.
Questions, concerns? Is a couple other businesses that use that road, have they been notified, do you know, or?
They will be notified of the hearing.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Is there a utility easement that has to be?
There is utilities under there. We have utilities under their property in quite a few locations. So those are all things that would have to be preserved, you know, if you do decide to go through with it.
Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2017-83, receiving the petition and calling for the public hearing, which should be on December 6th?
So moved.
Motion by Keith, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, 5 in favor, none against. We have no unfinished business. This now brings us to our new business, easement request, 1300 Timber Lane Drive.
This is just a little information for you. We've been working with a potential new business that would be located on the property adjacent to the ambulance garage. They are requesting an easement to access from the ambulance garage property for their delivery trucks, and then they're also requesting either an easement or to utilize the existing monopole sign, or to purchase the sign. And I did kind of include a draft drawing that they have submitted to show how trucks would go in the ambulance garage and then circle around so that they get back in next to the building. This just shows the outside limits of the two ways they could pull in on this, so don't, get too concerned about how that looks right now. This is just a draft schematic. So what I'm looking for tonight is just for perhaps the committee, the finance committee, or somebody to sit down with me and talk to them about whether that easement would be acceptable and what a price might be for that.
Questions?
So just committee, whichever.
Right. Questions, concerns?
Concerns, yeah. Drive semis right past the ambulance exit.
It wouldn't, from what I understand, it wouldn't be, where they'd be parking or anything,
Yeah,
but,
but they will stop there at some point. There'll be a second one and somebody will stop and it's just for a little bit.
and the other thing is whether or not the concrete or the,
Well, and then there's the whole, issue of how it holds up, but I just, there'll
Right.
be a semi coming in right at the time when somebody needs to get out.
right. So, but for right now, and those are all concerns that would come up to
Yep.
committee. Which committee would operations or finance?
Would guess operations.
Operations probably.
Yep,
Could
good.
Cover that.
Okay.
General consent, okay?
Sounds good.
And that's where it will go. That now brings us to our consent agenda. Schedule of claims, unpaid claims for a total of $16,948.32. October checks for a total of $1,042,766.21. And resolution number 2017-82, from accepting a contribution from the men's card playing group of $192.07 to be allocated to the senior center. On behalf of the city, we'd like to acknowledge that contribution and thank the men's card playing group. We also have a gambling application for exempt permit request from the Sauk Center Lions Club for a raffle on February 28th, 2018 at Jitters Java Cafe, and a gambling application for exempt permit request from the Sauk Center Chamber of Commerce for a raffle on January 15th, 2018 at Elmer's Restaurant, Bar, and Event Center. Any questions, concerns? Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented?
I'll make the mo,
A motion by Diane,
Second.
second by Dave. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, 5 in favor, none against. We have no informational items. We do have a closed session be taken care of right now, so we will recess the council meeting and clear the council chambers, and then we will reconvene after the closed session. So we'll reconvene the regular council meeting. As was stated before, we went into closed session to discuss real estate marketing strategy. To summarize, we've had that discussion. It is now the council's, I need a motion on the council's wishes.
I I think you're looking for a motion to enter into an agreement with, what we call a real estate broker, would that be appropriate?
Market Point.
Market Point, yeah.
Market Point.
Okay. All right, we have a motion by Dave, second by myself, to enter into a agreement with Market Point Real Estate Marketing Strategies. Any other comments, questions? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. This now brings us to the end of our agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Heidi, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Meeting adjourned.